And thank you.
Thank you very much.
Again. Yes. All right. Heavy subject, important subject, but we're going to move into a different subject. And Sander already briefly mentioned it. I heard you say something about the phones that are all around us. And our next speaker is going to convince you, hopefully, to maybe not have that phone around you all the time. So I'm going to welcome Claire to the stage on the topic of why you should put your phone down.
Oh.
Yeah. Back where we were. Okay.
Hey everyone, I'm Claire and I'm 21 years old and I'm from a small village in the south of Germany. I study here in Groningen at the Hanse University of Applied Sciences and I study international communication. Personally, I would describe myself as a very curious and spontaneous person. And that's also part why I chose this event. It was a very spontaneous decision for me, but I'm still super excited to do it. And the thing I want to talk about is why you should use your phone less or just turn it off sometimes. And I want to share my experiences with you about me often being without a phone and also why I love it so much. So yeah, I'm a bit nervous to do this, but I'm also super excited and yeah. Kind of everything. I mean, I feel excited. I'm also quite nervous, but it comes in waves. Sometimes I'm more excited, sometimes I'm more nervous. Yeah, it's basically everything, but I'm quite excited and nervous. The best thing would be for me if people would just get inspired to do the same, to just try it out, turn their phones off for a while, live more in the offline world rather than spending a lot of time online. Yeah, that would be great, just to inspire people to.
She's there standing.
You can totally do this. Yeah. Why am I so busy? Why do I never have time? Why do I feel restless? Does one of these questions sound familiar to you? Or maybe all of them? All of the three questions I asked myself quite a lot, and I found my answer during this pandemic. So let me begin. It all started in March. Uni closed. No one really knew what was going on. A lot of countries went into lockdown, and I went home. For those who don't know me, my home is a small town in the south of Germany, and my parents live on a farm. The first days at home, I spent a lot of time in front of my laptop and my phone, scrolling through Instagram, doing my uni stuff, FaceTime with my friends, just the usual. And time flew. The screen time on my phone was 4 hours. And what did I spend most time on? Take a guess. I'm pretty sure we all know it. Yes, exactly. Social media. Did you know that people between 16 and 29 spend on average 3 hours per day on social media? That's 90 hours a month and 46 days a year. On average, we spend 46 days a year on social media. Isn't that crazy? So to come back to me, as I said, my phone screen time was 4 hours. And at some point, I asked myself, what are you doing, Claire? What are you getting out of this? I realized that I didn't really do a lot besides being on my phone, but still I felt so busy, so stressed, so restless. And I also realized that there were loads of things that I still wanted to do, but somehow I just never had the time between always being reachable, scrolling through Instagram, FaceTiming my friends, and studying on top of that. And I don't even know anymore what the exact reason for it was, but one day I decided to turn off my phone for a day, and then for another day, and another one. First, it was super weird. I felt incomplete. I wanted to FaceTime my friends. I was overwhelmed by my thoughts. And even though I didn't really want to admit it, I caught myself thinking quite a lot about my phone and also in general, what's going on in the online world. But the days passed, and it got better. And I started to spend a lot of time outside. I went on biking tours with my grandpa. I went hiking in the woods. I started photography. And my best friend, my dad, and I even started our own garden. We grew our own vegetables and flowers. And while doing all those things, my mind became calm and quiet. I finally felt content. Whereas I heard a lot of people struggling throughout the lockdown with mental health, I didn't. For me, it was like by turning off my phone, I entered a new world, a world that I liked way better. And I had an amazing time because I finally had time to do all the things that I wanted. In May, I went back to Groningen, and I was really curious if being offline will make me feel as good as it used to at home, as I couldn't go in my garden. I couldn't go on biking tours with my grandpa, and I couldn't go hiking in the woods. But soon I realized that it worked exactly the same. Also here in Groningen, I found so many things that I still wanted to do as soon as my phone was turned off. I started running, rediscovered my passion for reading and writing, informed myself about politics, and really recently, I started to play the ukulele. Well, my friends would say play is a bit of a stretch, but I am really trying to play the ukulele. Now I talked about all the things that I did, but not really how it made me feel. This feeling that I have when I turn off my phone can be compared to a holiday. My mind, as I said, is more peaceful, but at the same time, everything is more intense. I'm more in the moment, and I swear I walk through the same streets, but I see things and people that I've never seen before. I hear sounds that I've never heard before. And I just feel more alive. At some point, I came to realize that I'd rather be with one person at one place 100% than being with one person, texting with my other friend, liking pictures of other friends, and watching the stories of 10 people that I barely know. I just want to be where I am, with who I am. The people I meet and the place that I am at is enough. And now looking back at the time when my phone was my best friend, which is quite a normal thing nowadays, I can't help but ask myself, why? For whom? Why did I do this to myself? And why are we still doing this to ourselves? Does it make us feel any better? No, certainly not. If it makes us feel anything, I'm sure that it makes us feel worse. I mean, let's be honest. Is it a coincidence that with the rise of social media and smartphones, today's teenagers are more depressed and stressed than ever? Is it a coincidence that suicide rates are constantly rising? Especially now, that we have so much time since we just simply cannot live our normal lives. With all that time, let's not waste it in front of a screen. Let's focus on ourselves and let's live in the real world. And by saying, let's live in the real world, I don't mean you should not use your phone at all. I don't mean you should all walk to the next trash and throw away your phone. Of course not. I am aware that a life without a phone is almost impossible, especially nowadays. I have a phone, and I need it too, although I don't like that at all. But what I mean is, do not live your life through that phone. Be aware of how and also how much you use it. And maybe, hopefully, one day, you will find that switch off button too. So, if you ever feel like the online world is getting too much for you and your mind is screaming, or maybe you feel fine and you're just curious what the offline world, the real world, still has to offer, either way, turn off your phone. Reconnect. Give yourself that holiday. And now at last, I want to encourage you all to check your screen time. How many hours do you spend every day on your phone? And what do you really want to do with all that time? Thank you.